Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another thrilling, informative, essential prog review. Today, I'm reviewing a new album by Yes. No, I'm not. It's Francis Monkman's Energism because we all need a little bit of jism in our life once in a while. And the only reason I got this was because of that farrago, that debacle that happened. Oh, it's a week ago now, isn't it? Roughly a week ago. For those who aren't in the know, or who are watching this in the far-flung future, where our overlords only let you watch YouTube once a week via hologram, in the year of our Lord 2021, a man called Jeffrey Downs mistakenly thought that a song he recorded in 1977 was his, and then passed it off as his own, but it wasn't. It was actually Francis Monkman's song for Energism. Was originally a library music album. Now, again, I've got to explain to people what a library music album is. There are many different kinds of library music album. There are many different ways of licensing music and this, that, and the other. Back in the old days, some library music albums were very expensive, and so you just bought it and you could use whatever you wanted willy nilly, like it was copyright free. Yeah? Um, Rules change, things change, the way music is used in TV and films change. Now it's more licensed, and so you have to pay a license to use the music. And sometimes music is written specifically for a program. You're commissioned to write, and you might still get a residual from it. You might not. You might hand over the copyright to the TV company or the people, the producer that has commissioned the music. So there are many different ways of coming at this. The fact that Francis Monkman had written this or recorded it in 1977, it was originally published in 1978, but there was this is a German pressing on WA or Warner, WEA or Warner Music. Indicates that the copyright and the music belonged to him. It's an easy line to follow, and so that was that. This is interesting because it actually has on the back is a picture of Francis and the lady who painted the portrait on the front. But there's also, I don't know if you can read there, a little write-up by Klaus Schultz, who really enjoyed this, and it's in English and in German, and he talks about why he wanted the album. I don't know if he commissioned it to be issued. It's a relatively short record. It's only about 30 minutes long, and yeah, you hear you hear the influence that it had on the Ice Bridge by Yes. So yeah, all titles are published by, written by. Sorry, are all titles are written by Francis Monkman and published by Raba Music. It was produced by Aaron Harry. We have Francis Monkman on keyboards, Tristram Fry on percussion, Barry D'Souza on drums, and Mo Foster on bass guitar. Mo Foster I think is a well-known, and Barry D'Souza. I think they're fairly well-known session people. I've not heard of Tristram Fry, but he's probably well known as well. I've just not been aware of it. So what you've got here is you've got a number of themes. I guess you could say they're electronic based, and a lot of these themes are reused. Is it extemporized? That sounds like a musical term, doesn't it? And developed. They flow in and out of each other. I'd say, again, a lot of the songs on here share musical DNA. No way does it sound like a Jeff Downs composition. Just saying that. Again, if you're gonna point fingers, and I know a lot of people like pointing fingers, this music probably owes more to what Vangelis was doing around a similar time. So yeah, but again, you've got to remember if Monkman was commissioned to write this music, or somebody said, wouldn't it be good if we, everyone likes Vangelis at the moment, let's do some tunes that sound like that. Again, this is something that people do in TV music. Music commissioning is they sometimes commission to have music made that's a sound alike. It sounds like a song because they don't have the rights to that song. I mean, I remember reading an article. I don't know if it was in Sound on Sound, or a guy was writing for it's either an advert or a TV show, and they said we want a song that sounds like this song, but it's too expensive for us to get the 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 license for it. So we wondered it'd be cheaper to commission you to do a sound alike. So we did this sound alike, and they said no, and they ummed and ahed over it, and it was a lot of back and forth about the song. And they never used his song. Instead, they ended up licensing the original song for more money, because that is the weird world of music in TV and film and radio and whatnot. So yeah, back to this. There's some of the stuff here. I mean, the tracks are in the 3-minute margin. Like I say, very Vangelis-y. I enjoyed listening to it. It's and again, it's funny because one of the tracks, "Achievements of Man," was actually used in the TV show Think Again, which was hosted by Johnny Ball. I think it was done before. Was it done before he did Think of a Number, or maybe it was done afterwards? It was the 80s. How am I supposed to remember the 80s? But this is why I was, when I heard the Ice Bridge, I was thinking, oh, no, this sounds familiar. This sounds, Also, I think somebody posted a link to, I don't know if it was Australian Sale of the Century, and they used tracks from this, may have been Dawn of an Era, in their music to accompany, the prizes on the show. So again, these tracks would have been used probably worldwide and different places. So, that's probably why they feel so familiar. But yeah, it was a very interesting record to hear. What else can I say about it? Yeah, you do get the feeling it's not like a true album because of the relative length and repetition of the themes, because there's lots of themes, like I say, that repeat themselves and get developed. So you do get the feeling that they're probably one step up from a demo to being a completed product, if you know what I mean. If this was an album, you'd think, yeah, it needs a little bit extra, a little bit more oomph. There's something, in some of the tracks that are a little bit lacking. But it's not me saying that this, that's not doing it a disservice. I think that's just the way it was put together. Somebody said that this was recorded in 2 days. It certainly doesn't sound like it. But again, if you're an artist, if you're a musician of Monkman's capability, and you've got to remember he was at the Royal Academy of Music, and he got recognition there and everything. This is somebody who, is a very talented, keyboard player. So knocking 30 minutes of music out in 2 days recording, that's easy. You've got to remember, in the old days when people didn't used to piss about in recording studios, the Beatles used to do albums in a couple of days, didn't they? So people forget that if you're good at what you do, you get the job done instead of pissing around trying to decipher whether it's an F sharp or F flat. So that was a Yes reference, by the way. So yeah, I mean, it was very interesting listening to it. It doesn't sound particularly Yes-like. It doesn't sound particularly Downs-like. It comes from that certain place. Again, you heard a lot of music like this in the late 70s, early 80s, into the 80s, in TV shows and on TV adverts. So it's very nostalgic. If you like that, the idea of, I don't know, stepping backwards in time for a moment. Because again, a lot of the music on here just reminds you of something else. It's like, oh yeah, but that's the point of it. That's the point of it. The familiarity is the point of it, so they can use it. That's the whole point of the album. But yeah, I mean, I want to thank Jeff Downs for making this foobar, because then it allowed me to investigate this, and it's a pretty good album sleeve as well. Painted by Evelyn Taylor, an American artist. So there you go. So yeah, you can pick these up. I don't think these are too expensive at the moment. The actual original library album, I think, is a little bit more spicy in the price range. But you can get these. Like I say, it's a German pressing. We'll have a look, shall we? Do some show and tell. So that's the front and the back. Inside there isn't in the bag, but it's just a promotional. It's like one of these really cool promotional in a bag, and it's poly-lined as well. So. But you can see all sorts of albums that you might want to buy on the Warner Brothers, Elektra and Atlantic label, WEA, and there's the vinyl itself. I haven't given it a clean, but I gave it a brush over with my brush, and it played really nicely. It sounds really punchy. It sounds really good. Much better than listen to it on YouTube. Yay! So there you go. So that was an adventure, wasn't it? We go to the obscure, thanks to Jeffrey Downes and his light fingered approach to keyboard playing. But it's good to know that it's all been rectified, and Francis Monkman gets the writing credit and a share, I would imagine, writing share. These things happen, but don't pile on at me. And I mean, there were some people that somehow thought that Monkman had ripped off Downes, that there was some sort of weird time travel anomaly going on. It's like, no, he just didn't have his tape box labelled properly. And there you go. Thank you for watching. I've been talking about Francis Monkman's Energism, originally released in 1978 as library music, but then reissued in 1980 in Germany as a proper commercial album. And if you don't know, Francis Monkman's probably better known for working with Curved Air and Sky, but more importantly, appearing on 801 Live with Eno and Phil Manzanera, which we all know and can all agree is the greatest live album ever recorded. You know I'm right. Anyway, thank you for watching. It's been lovely talking to you. Let's do this again soon. There's only one more thing left to say, and that is PROG on.